Do you want to build a full stack web application? Check out our video to build a simple MERN stack project by sending data from frontend React.js to backend Express.js, storing data in Mongodb. Before we start, if you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button to get more content from us.
That we have HTML, CSS and JavaScript code for a contact form. We'll store it in React.js, which displays the form in port 5173. The data will be sent through API to the backend framework running in port 5000, and the data is stored in MongoDB. Stack get data from MongoDB to the backend framework and display it in the frontend React.js. To do this project, we need to install Node.js, which contains React and Express.js framework and MongoDB. To install Node.js, you can go to the official website, choose the software according to your system, architecture and bit. Here I am choosing Windows 64 and click on Windows installer and give necessary permissions. For MongoDB, you can go to the official website, scroll down, choose software according to your system architecture and download it. We need to create a folder for backend. Right now I am going to create a folder called B5. Open it. Open this folder in command prompt and here install necessary dependencies. We need to install Express, Mongo, Course, Notman, body person. Wait for a second until it's installed. Yeah, we finally installed all the packages. Now let's close this one, and in this p5 folder we can see some packages and files here. Open the package.json file. In this, under script section, rename the line test with start with notman server.js and save it. Here create a new file in this folder called server.js. Now we will enter this code here. To run this terminal we need to open here command prompt. So I'm taking command prompt instead of PowerShell and deleting the rest of all the terminals here. We need to get into the v5 folder and we'll write down our code here. First we need to install Express, so constant express equal to require express. Same way we need to install course, next is Mongoose, and the next one is body person. Here we need to use an app which contains express files, and we use codes in this app. We also use body parser to return the data in JSON format. From here we need to connect the MongoDB by Mongoose. Give the URL of the MongoDB database. This is general localhost address, and the localhost port number will be 27017 slash, and you have to write the database name here. My database name is student, and we have to use MERN server. Here. Next, we need to define a schema for storing the data. I'm going to name it as student schema here, and I'll connect it to the mongoose.schema. Where we need to give all the data types. I mean, the data which we are storing, we have to give the names here. Name, after I'm going to give roll number. Next is class. Class will be string, and department. We define the schema. Now we have to connect the schema to the model. I'm going to name the model name is student, and we need to connect the model to our schema. Here we should give the collection name in your collection name for your MongoDB, and write down your schema here. Close it. And next we have to give a post method to store the data. So I'm going to create a new route here. So whenever we post data, it will be stored in another API. I need to assign a function. Let's request. We need to try a post method here. So from frontend port number, we're going to get some data. So I'll store this in this function request.body. So this request.body contains our frontend data, and I'm going to store this data in model. And store the values. I'm going to store the name, roll number, class, it's capital C, and department. After that, not okay. And after that, we have to store this in student.style. And here we want to see the data in the terminal, so I'm going to write console.log, and here I want to see the data
name of the person user and his department. Okay, I'll take roll number. And we have to write a catch error here. If any error occurs, like if they enter any insufficient data, it will show the error in the backend. I'm going to close this one. It says a red symbol here. Let's say what's the, yeah, we need to give a screen packet here. Give R symbol. Signed. How we post method. After posting, we have to this. We want to see this data in a port called 5000. Server. Let's save it here and run this code. It's some kind of unexpected cooking. It's actually not true. It's we have to put a comma here. Let's save it again. We need to start the server again. It's still saying some department is not defined. It was string actually. I defined it as department. Let's save it again. Yeah, you can see that our server is running on 5000. Let's check if the okay, after saving this data here, I want to see whether we after posting here, I want to give a response here. It says data received. So this line, what it tells means whenever you are request, it will give a response after sending successfully. It will give the message student address over here. So I'm going to save it here and run this server again. And let's see how this backend works in Postman. For this, go to the Postman, and here we're going to create a new HTTP request to this backend URL. So what we are exactly doing means we are going to send some post data here. section. I'm going to send the data as content type. I'm going to, the response will be like application.json. The next body is raw data. I'm going to give name as MERN. I'm going to give his roll number as 125, and I'm going to give this class as fish section. I'm going to give his department as mechanical. Let's send this data and we'll get response as status student data received. So we have got his data in the backend. So here we can see 1.125 is the data. We got it here. Let's check this in backend API. So what we're going to do is we'll just go and see this in our local server. Here, open our portal. It will be stored in students/API. It's actually a post request, so we won't be able to see a post request. For this, we're going to create a get method here. So, get /API /students request my response. I'm going to store the data in students, and I would like to wait. Store the data in responded.json students. Here we need to create a try method again, because to make sure the data is correctly getting or not. Try and catch error console. Let's just save it. Now server and run it again. Now let's open this portal here. We can able to see the data here. Here we can see this is the data which I already given. So we can see at the last of our data 125 B section mechanical. This is the data what we send it through the postman. So this is his data. MERN and 125 is his data. So now let's create the front end. For this project. Right now I'm going to close the VS Code, close everything, and we'll go right now in this b5 folder. I'm going to open command prompt, and here I need to, so the front end will automatically create a new folder here. So I'll just go for the coding part. It's npm create void @latest. So I'm going to give the project name as F6, and here you have to select React, and here you have to select JavaScript. To run the default web page, just follow the above commands. Use npm install for necessary dependencies. Just it takes some kind of just takes 1 to 2 minutes to get installed, and after that you have to run the command npm run dev to see the default web page of React. So let's run our React.js default web page. Here click on this URL to see the default web page. So this is the default web page. This is white plus React. This is how it looks like. Now let's go to our f6 folder. Actually, I think it's f5 folder. I think. See the. It was f6 actually. It was created inside. Yeah, here is the f6 file. In this, under the source folder, open the app.pl. So this is the code that is responsible for our web page looking like this. So let's just take out all of this and write our front-end code. Right now I'm going to clear everything here, and I need to import React, use state to get an input from the user, which I'm going to take from React. You can also import app.cs file by creating a new one, or else taking the default one in app. In React framework. So here we are going to create a function called app. Here we will return what we want to return. Let's say hello world with header 3. And we're going to export this app. Just save it and navigate to our folder in the command prompt here. Navigate to cdf6 and now run this file. Now just go and check on this URL here. Here see, we can observe hello world here. So we're going to create a web page here. For web page, we can write our code as first create a form. In this, I'm going to take a label as first name, and I'm going to take an input. I'm going to add placeholder as empty. I'm going to enter the data type as text, and I'll close this one. I'll enter it as let's break it here to create a new line. We're going to use the same code creating for class, roll number and everything. Roll number. Okay. I'm going to use number instead of text, and here class, and here department. Let's just save this one. And we can see our name, roll number, class, department here. So what I'm going to do means when a user enters some data like this one, I also need to add a button here. It says type submit. And name the button as send. Save it. And we can see when a user enters some data here, anything, with this, when a user enters data and click on the send option, I want to get the data to be sent to our backend here. Let's run our CDB. I'm going to run our server. Now we're going to run our server. Let's see how we can send the data here. Let's go to our app.js file. Here I need to create a function to store names, and I'm going to name as set name, because when multiple users come and send, it's going to store the names in set name. So when a user enters name, it will be stored in set name, and it will be back into name again, enabling different users can access it, can send the data. And I'm going to use the use state here to take input. So I'm going to use the same function for creating rest of the three data. Here instead of name, I'm going to take roll number. Here instead of name, I'm going to take class. We need to take department. Don't use small c here, because small c contains class, which will be a default keyword in React.js. So I'm going to use capital C, and here I'm going to enter the department variable. I'm going to set the function as set department. Let's save it here. So after sending this send button, it should be gone to the our post request. For that, I'm going to create a function for posting. We need to create this function. Here we'll create the function. So constant. We're going to name it as handle submit. It will contain a function. Here we'll use a try method to get response, and we use Axios. post data. Access is just like codes in backend, which enables security measures to safely send the data to desired port. So this is the access dot. So this access, what we do means it sends the data to this particular URL. It's API/student. Here need to take name. Here we need to take roll number. Here we need to take command. For this one, I'm going to take a try and catch error here. Make sure the data is in. Prove it here actually. Yeah, we got we need to give up. So this is ready now. When name parse into roll number, let's say this will be going to the this will be going to the this will be going to this URL here. I'm going to name it as let's name the name as Vinod, and here I'm going to send his roll number as 678, and here class is a section. I'm going to name his department as electrical. Let's save it and run our frontend file. Let's go here. So wait a second, saying something error is here. Here what we have to do is on clicking this submit button, we have to send the data. So I'm going to assign the submit button to the handle submit function. So when the user click on the send button, it will go the on submit function. The function will be sent to the post request of the data. So this data will be going to, it's not window, it's Vinod. Let's save it here and save it back website. Let's say I'm going to use some particular data here. Actually this data will not be going to there, but the actual data here, you can see this Vinod parts intro number. This data will be sent. Let's send whether it's going on. But click on send button. Let's see at the, we need to import access also here for sending the data safely. Here one will open the terminal. First we will save it first, and we'll open our terminal to run our backend server. First we'll run our server. server.js. So when some data is sent, we'll fetch it here. So now let's run our frontend. For this we need to go out folder cd f6 and enter the command npm run dev. So the webcam is located here. So the data here will enter here, it will not be entered. will not be sent to the backend, but the data in the function. So this data will not be sent, but what data will be sent means the data here, we know the section electrical will be sent here, and you want to check, you can go to our backend server and check it here. You can see Windows and 678 is the new user added here. So let's look at the backend and just refresh it here, and here you can see Windows 678 A section department electrical is added. And in Mongodb we can just go to our, you can go to here, and this is that our database name student, and here students. You don't need to create a database name as you just have to create a database name student, and the collection name students will be automatically created in the coding of the backend. And you can see, let's just scroll down here, the data is still not sent. Let's refresh it here. Let's refresh and see the student. Let's go to students. The data is still not sent here. It takes some time, I think. Let's just let's say how we can send the data from web page. So instead of Vinod, I'm going to name it as name, and here phone number. Arts into roll number, and here instead of a section I'm going to name it as class. Actually be class, and here department, it will be department. So I'm going to assign the user entered values to these variables here. So what I'm going to do means I'm going to use this function set name set roll number to in this function. So here on chain I'm going to call a function and assign the value to the function set name, and assign and enter the target value there. Like this. Let's save it here. Let's take an example of 1 2 3 in class. Okay, why don't we create all the values here. On change, I'm going to send the target value, and here actually it's set class, here it's set roll number, assign the target variable. The department call the function and get the target value here. So the data entered here in this input will be sent into here using this functions constant here. So let's just save it. Yeah, just save. Let's have a look at this. Let's look at our printer. And right now I'm going to send a data called John, and his roll number should be 908, and his class will be CSC, and his department is cyber security, and I'll send this data. Let's see, can we get this data in the backend? Here we can see John and 908. The data is stored in the backend. Let's look at the backend server API. Here we can just need to refresh it here. Yeah, we can see John, roll number 98, CSE, cybersecurity is entered here. And let's look at our MongoDB again. Let's refresh it here. Take a look. The data is still not sent. I think maybe I'll close this file and open MongoDB again. Students, here look at this one. Let's see past values like Warren B section electrical, all the data have been entered here. So the data what I said here, I think it takes some time. So this is how the front end looks. So this is how posting of data looks like. So after posting, we need to see the data what we have here until. So after this one, we need to what I can say. We need to post this. So we need to get. We want to see the data. So how we can see the data from MongoDB to backend server. So I'm going to create a printform.js expand in the same folder, and I'm going to copy the app.js file here. Now I'm going to take out everything here. For now, how to see the backend data. So how we can see means how to write code again. For this, we need to import React, use state, use effect. From React, we're also using browser. Browser hookup here. Also we'll create an app to share the data. We're going to return the value. First, we'll create a function called students to store the students data. Use effect to fetch the data. I'm going to call a function called fetch data. Fetch data. And use try method to get some response. We're going to get the data in this URL, that is /api/logins. called data response.json. So the data that we get here is in the format of JSON files. So first we'll collect in JSON format and store the data in another function. So the data is multiple, so what I'm going to do means I'm going to use the set students, and I'll use students to get single data, and I need to enter a error function here. So we got the function, we need to call the function, and here I need to create an empty array to store the data. Close it, and we'll, so this function what will do means it will fetch the data in this URL here. So the data here will be fetched to this code. So in order to display the data, I'm going to create a HTML code. So I'm going to create a division which takes data from the above function app. So I'm going to create an app called heading called student list. I'm going to use students. So this is one data, so in that I'm going to use the mistake is I'm going to use students.map single particular data, and I'm going to use roll number, and close this one, and I want to display student name first, and class student roll number student class student department. Let's use some space here to see the data separately. Yeah, this is the code what we finally wanted, and we need to export this app. So let's just save this one. So this time we're going to fetch the data. It says some errors here. Okay, first of all we didn't install reactor DOM here, react router DOM. For this I'm going to stop the terminal and first install react router DOM. So what we're react router DOM using means, if you want to get some data in the form of APS, you need to install this one to get the data. Now let's run the data. Let's run our web page. Let's look at this one. Yeah, you can see this is all the data until now we got. It's just John 909 and CSC cybersecurity. This is all the data what we get here, student list. So this is how the code works for getting the data. So right now we have two different files. One is for getting the data, one is for right now we have two files. It is student form. This form is used for sending the data, and this form is used for and this is for displaying the data. So what I'm going to do means I'll create another file that's called student list.jsx. I'm going to put it in the same folder here. So I'll take the entire code in app.js. Control C and paste it here. Remove the code in app.js file. We separately created student.list student form. So what I want to do means I want to create a web form so that the user can see the data and also as well as send the data. For this I'm going to create another React app. I'm going to use state here, use effect from React. We'll just get we'll take the same data here. Just paste it here. And now here we'll run our code here. So forgot to install the Axios also here. As is used for better communication. We'll import the file student list. So we're importing student list from student list.jx. So we're going to import this file and we're also going to import these files also. To use these files at the same time. I'm going to create an app. I'm going to return create a router here. To create a division, step data, let's display the data in the app. We'll create a name. I'm going to direct to the add API separate API. This is for storing the data for web form. And the next one is for seeing the data. List of students. I'm going to create now. So when a path add is straight, I'm going to direct him to the as to student form. I need to close it here. To define my route, I'm going to create the same path for list. And the element will be student list. I'm going to save this file. So the new files are important. It's student form, student list. It's not recognized. Let's look at our files. Student form, it's student list.jsx. Spelling is correct. Okay, it's the student form.jsx. So instead of app, we're going to use student list. And I'm going to save it. And here in student.form, I'm going to use So this is how the interface of the student and list combination looks like. So right now we have the list of students. For add of student, we didn't got the form. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to import student form. From dot slash student form.jsx. I'm going to save it and look for it here. Here student man. Here, when you click on list of students, you can get the students list here. When we click on add student, wait a sec. I think it's not working. So I need to give the element path here. And to give the student form. I'm going to save it here. Let's have a look of add student. Able to see the add student form. Let's have a look in the console. See what's the error. This routes match location has to be there. Here I need to add. So here we got everything we wanted. So let's say I'm going to enter my name, Lakshman. My roll number is 108. Class is CSD. department is data science. Let's see which whether my data is going to send to the backup or not. Let's look at the list of students. Here, H1 108 CSD data science. All my data is going here. And let's have a look at the MongoDB. It is saying something error is here. Here, what we have to do is, on clicking this submit button, we have to send the data. So I'm going to assign the submit button to the handle submit function. So when the user click on the send button, it will go on submit function. The function will be sent to the post request of the data. So this data will be going to, it's not window, it's Vinod. Let's save it here and save it back website. Let's say I'm going to use some particular data here. Actually, this data will not be going to there, but the actual data here, you can see this. We know a part intro number. This data will be sent. Let's send whether it's going on. But click on send button. Let's see at the backend. So the server is running. Go and check our server is not actually is, yeah, it's actually not v4, it's actually v5. So I'm going to delete. Please go. And here I'm clicking on the send. Here I'm clicking on the send button to see the data in the backend. Here the data is not showing because we not defined it. So let's go. Actually P4. on send button to see the backend data. Here we can't able to see the data, but let's see it in the backend. So I think the code is not properly written here. Okay, I understand which tutorial. Here we need to install Axios. Before it, we need to install for safety. Didn't install Axios, so I'm going to install Axios. Now let's run our file. Let's click on the send button. So the data should be sent here. Still the data is not going. Let's see what's the error here.